Good morning to everybody. Recently, I have visited New York City in United States of America. There are a good number of worth seeing places in New York City. So after visiting the places, I thought I could share the importance of some of the important places that I have visited for the curious visitors or the people who are curious to know the details of the places in New York City. So I have made a presentation on the important place of New York. Here is my presentation. Let me share the importance of New York City. The New York City is one of the largest cities in the world. First settled by the Dutch people, and it was called as New Amsterdam in 1624. The city came under the English control in 1664. The city was a major trading center. After the American Revolution, New York officially became the nation's capital in 1789 when George Washington was sworn in. While it is no longer the nation's capital, but New York City is still the beating heart of the country. So these are some of the important points as far as New York City is concerned, or you can say historical points. Now the very important place to visit is the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was a gift of friendship from the people of France to the United States in the year 1886. The statue is recognized as a universal symbol of freedom and democracy. Height of copper statue. If you see the statue, the outside what you are seeing is the skin and the covering, and this part is made up of copper. So height of copper statue is 151 feet 1 inch exactly from ground level to torch, and 305 feet 1 inch, that is equal to 93 meters. So height of copper statue is 151 feet 1 inch, but from ground level to torch it is 305 feet 1 inch. So this statue was dedicated on October 28, 1886. Adjacent to the Statue of Liberty, there is another island called Ellis Island. So Ellis Island is a historical site that opened in 1892 as an immigration station. It served the purpose for more than 60 years until it closed in 1954. Located at the mouth of Hudson River between New York and New Jersey, Ellis Island saw millions of newly arrived immigrants pass through its doors. Next, Brooklyn Bridge. Opened in May 1983, it was the largest suspension bridge in the world for 20 years. Brooklyn Bridge, spanning the East River from Brooklyn to Manhattan in New York City. 1,596 feet length and 277 feet height. The Brooklyn Bridge was the world's first steel wire suspension bridge. 21 elephants walked across the Brooklyn Bridge in 1884 to test its strength. The bridge's construction took 14 years, and at that time its cost was $15 million, and present cost will be more than $320 million. Next, One World Trade Center. The 214 completion of One World Trade Center marked a major milestone in the history of New York City. More than 13 years in the making, the 104-story, 3.5 million square foot, 1,776-foot tower. So one WTC, that is One World Trade Center, is the tallest building in the United States, the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere, and the 7th tallest in the world. So One World Trade Center has a total of 71 elevators, because to go from ground floor to 104, you need speedy elevators. So you have 71 elevators installed in the World Trade Center. So an elevator can go from the ground floor to the 102nd floor in just 1 minute, or you can say 60 seconds. Next, 9/11 memorial pools. So 9/11 attacks, it's commonly known as 9/11 attack. So a series of 4 coordinated suicide terrorist attacks carried out by Al-Qaeda, in which the Twin Towers were damaged and more than 3,000 lives were lost. So the 9/11 memorial, so in the memory of the people who lost their lives, this 9/11 memorial and also museum was established there. The 9/11 memorial and museum is located at the World Trade Center in New York City. After the tragic events of that September day in 2001, the memorial was built to serve as an eternal beacon. Above all, the memorial honors the unsung heroes for their selflessness and sacrifice. The memorial's focal points are 2 pools, each nearly an acre in size. Each descends 30 feet into a square basin. The pools contain the largest man-made waterfalls in North America. The water in each pool drops another 20 feet from the basin and vanishes into a smaller central void. So the pools represent absence made visible according to Erard. Next important structure is the Oculus. Opened to the public on 4th March 2016, replacing the Path train station that was destroyed in the 9/11 attacks. So the meaning of Oculus. An oculus, the word derived from the Latin meaning eye. So it's a circular opening in the center of a dome or in a wall. The Oculus in New York City is an artistic landmark located within walking distance of the World Trade Center. It provides access to Port Authority Trans-Hudson, that is the expansion of PATH, P-A-T-H. PATH means Port Authority Trans-Hudson. So it provides access to the Port Authority Trans-Hudson commuter trains to New Jersey and 11 New York City subway lines. So its cost was $4 billion, so making it the most expensive train stop in the world. Next comes the vessel. The vessel in the New York City is part of the Hudson Yards, New York's newest monument. Inaugurated in May 2019, is a great technological building. Inside the vessel, you will find 154 spiral and interconnected staircases, as well as 80 platforms and about 2,500 steps. Next, Bryant Park. Bryant Park is one of the world's busiest public spaces. More than 12 million people per year visit the park to enjoy more than 1,000 free events that takes place in this Bryant Park. Next, public library. The New York Public Library is a public library system in New York City with nearly 53 million items. With nearly 53 million items and 92 locations, the New York Public Library is the second largest public library in the United States, behind the Library of Congress, and the fourth largest in the world. Grand Central Terminal. Opened to the public on February 2nd, 1913, Grand Central is a world-famous landmark and transportation hub in Midtown Manhattan. With 750,000 visitors every day, Grand Central Terminal is one of the most visited destinations in New York City, second only to Times Square. Grand Central has 44 platforms, more than any other railroad station in the world. One of Grand Central's main attractions, the four-faced opal clock, sits in the center of the main concourse. Then Central Park. The iconic Central Park, possibly the most famous public park in the world, is a must-see destination in New York City. It's around 800 to 900 acres area. Perhaps the Central Park's most notable attraction is the Central Park Zoo, housing everything from snow leopards to penguins. Apart from the zoo in the Central Park, there are so many other attractions. For example, Alice in Wonderland. It's a good place for the children. Then Belvedere Castle. It's a miniature castle. Then Shakespeare Garden. Then carriage ride, carousel, boating, conservatory, garden, the great lawn, walking tracks, etc. So many more you can find, and you need more than a day to spend to see all these places. Next comes the Times Square. Times Square is a major commercial interaction, tourist destination, entertainment center. Brightly lit by numerous billboards and advertisements, it is sometimes referred to as the crossroads of the world, the center of the universe, also called the center of the universe, the heart of the Great White Way, and the heart of the world. One of the world's busiest pedestrian areas, a major center of the world's entertainment industry. So Times Square is one of the world's most visited tourist attractions. It is better to visit this place, especially in the evening, so that you can see the illuminated boards. Next, it's a flat iron building. What you are seeing in a triangular shape is flat iron building. The flat iron building, built in 1902, originally the Fuller Building, it was called, is a triangular 22-story, 285-foot tall, steel-framed landmark building. It was called one of the world's most iconic skyscrapers and a quintessential symbol of New York City. Next, Empire State Building. The Empire State Building is a 102-story Art Deco skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. A symbol of New York City, the building has been named as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world by the American Society of Civil Engineers. The Empire State Building stood as the world's tallest building until the construction of the World Trade Center in 1970. As of 2022, the building is the 7th tallest building in New York City, the 9th tallest completed skyscraper in the United States, the 54th tallest in the world, and the 6th tallest free standing structure in the Americas. It has an observatory at 86th and 102nd floor. So people can see through this observatory and you can see the whole New York City. Then Chrysler Building at 1046 feet height. It is the tallest brick building in the world with a steel framework and was the world's tallest building for 11 months after its completion in 1930. As of 2019, the Chrysler is the 11th tallest building in the city. So these are some of the places I have visited and presented. I have tried to introduce a few important places, but there are many more to visit in New York City. Thank you for watching.